All right. Welcome to the January 11th, 2024 EAC meeting. Our first order of business is to welcome our new liaison, Matt Ross. And Matt, are you there?
I'm here.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Should we know anything about you? You want to say?
No, I mean, I'm the new supervisor on the block. Just excited to get involved in everything. I'm just kind of trying to learn everything and not make any calls, just trying to hear all the meetings and everything. I've been going to all the meetings and kind of sitting in the back to just, get a gauge on everything in the township before I go, trying to enact any crazy changes. So just really excited that you guys are having me and excited to get working with everybody.
All right. And you were on the Yardley Borough Council before being a supervisor here, right?
I was.
Yeah. So you're familiar with Yardley. That's good. And yeah, do read our 2023 year-end review. That'll give you a good idea of what we're up to.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Next
and Alan.
Yeah.
Alan,
sure.
We have two people in the LMT supervisor meeting room too. Two residents.
All right. Welcome. Can you hear us? Maybe not.
The answer was yes.
Yes? Okay.
Yes,
yeah.
they can.
Okay, good. I don't know. Let's go on and do next order of business is approval of the December 14th meeting minutes. Do I have somebody recommending approval?
Yeah, I will recommend approval for the December 14th meeting minutes.
All right. Do we have a second? Well, I'll second. Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Raise your hand.
Aye.
All right. Meeting minutes approved. All right. Now, number 3, the always exciting election. Anybody interested in being chair? I know Jim Bray has expressed an interest. Anybody else? So one candidate makes it easy. All right. All right. All in favor of Jim Bray as chair in 2024, raise your hand.
Aye.
Congratulations, Jim.
And it's all right, Alan. Thank you, everybody. Gene and I are retired, so we can use the extra income.
Yeah.
You believe that? I'll tell you another one. So.
Yeah. All right. Any nominations for vice chair? Nobody else will do it. I'll do it.
Yeah, I'll nominate you, Alan.
All right. All right. All in favor of me being vice chair? Raise your hands.
Aye.
Okay.
Come on, Sumia. I need your vote. All right.
Her hand was, she voted, Alan, but her hand was hidden behind.
Okay. Thank you, Sumia. All
There
right.
we go.
Election's done. All right, Jim, you want me to do the rest of the meeting or you want to take over?
No, why don't you do it, Alan, because this is your agenda and then I can start next meeting.
Okay. All right, the long-range tree planting plan. I see Jim Majewski there. I don't know if Tom Kamita is there or not. Jim, what's up?
We're waiting for Tom to get into the meeting. So if you have a short agenda item that you could go to, and then we'll come back to that in a few minutes.
All right, well, let us know when he comes in. Just out of curiosity, our public member at the township building, what are you here for? So I make sure you get a chance to comment. Are you here for a specific issue?
1 second, Alan. Jim, Tom has sent a message asking for the link for the meeting.
Who has?
Tom Komita.
Jim Majewski's sending it to him right now.
Okay.
Okay.
Good. All right. Well, let's go on to the recycling. we're still on for January 20th from 10 to noon at the Township Building parking lot. And who's going to be there to help out? Because, okay.
I
good.
will.
And Jim and I am, so that's 4. Is now
I
Dan,
think my wife, Barbara Joseph, will also be a part of that.
all right. And Dan Bornstein said he'd be there. And maybe 1 or 2 other people. So I guess we'll have enough. I'll go ahead and see if my friend Steve Myers will do it too. So we have enough because long range
last
weather
time,
forecast.
I think we had 8 people the last time, and that was perfect. I mean, anything less and we're starting to scramble a little. But the 8 made it a pretty smooth process.
All right. Well, I'll see if my friend can join us. That'll get us to 7. That's close. Maybe somebody else will show up. I guess, Paul, are you going to send out that newsletter to?
Yep, I sent it out already.
Oh, you did? When did you send it out?
Oh, a couple of days ago.
Okay. All right. So that's good. And it also had the notification about the plastics movie, right? In Newtown
Yes.
on Tuesday.
That was
Good.
part of it. Yep.
Okay, good. All right, so I guess we're more or less set up for our recycling event. I've got the bags, put the styrofoam in, and Kevin says he'll bring the buckets over for the batteries. And our other item is the plastic bag ban update. And that's Eugene. You got anything?
Well, I'm gonna ask Dominique, can you talk about it? Just
Well, I don't have much to say about it, except that at this stage, I think we need the approval or opinion of the board of the Lower Makefield supervisors to see if we can maybe make some steps towards the banning of single-use plastic bags.
Dominique, I think that's it exactly right. Now, Ellen and I are going to be meeting with Dave Kratzer, the township manager. I think it's on the 19th. And that's one of the items that we're going to talk about. We have already had some input from the supervisors that they're interested in this thing. And quite frankly, I think this is an idea whose time has really come. And I can't foresee not seeing us moving ahead with this. But, the steps that we take are important. We always want, when we're involved in a project like this, we want the township manager and the supervisors, behind us. Otherwise, this is not going to go anywhere. So,
yeah, I agree. So would the ESC ask then the supervisors? Would you do that, Jim?
yeah, well, that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be meeting with the township manager on the 19th.
Okay.
And, Dave will convey that to the supervisors. In the meantime, we have talked with one of the supervisors about this already, and he was receptive. And we're in the interim, even before the 19th, we might, talk to another 1 or 2 of them as well. But as I said, I think this is a real important issue. It's being done by several neighboring communities. It's done by the whole state of New York, the state of New Jersey, Delaware. So, this is a concept whose time has come.
Now, Dominique, Dominique got a list of all the businesses in Lower Makefield. And do you all see any problem with her if she's, say, going to the grocery store one day, asking how they feel about plastic plastic ban. Is that a problem, or can she go ahead and do that?
Personally, I would wait until we talk to the township manager and the board, and that's in a very short time frame.
Okay, sure.
uh,
All right.
All right.
That's
And Matt
good. Thank
Ross,
you.
did you know that we're interested in this? And did you know that Newtown Township has a ban on plastic bags? It takes effect, I think, in April. So we'll kind of be piggybacking.
This is the first I'm hearing about Lower Makefield, that's being thought of. I did know about the Newtown one.
Okay, so we're looking into it and we may proceed with it this year. So just
Thank
so
you.
you're aware.
Great.
All right, I see Jim Majewski.
Good evening, Alan. Tom Comita is here and
Great.
can be brought into the room now to start the discussion.
All right, long-range tree planting plan. We submitted comments on it. Hi, Tom, how you doing?
Sure. Good, good. Sorry for the delay getting to you. Yeah. Thank you for your comments. I would just say any and all comments are very much appreciated, and the simple responses will do. What I wanted to do is get a little bit of input on Regency at Yardley, because all the other comments are clear to me, and the changes that could be made and the refinements that could be made. On Regency at Yardley, a question was asked, were all the trees on the developer's landscape plan planted? So when I went to the site, first with Jim and Dan from the township, we observed, the trees that were originally planted and the evergreen trees that were in process of being planted. So then about 2 weeks later, I returned to the site. I inventoried all the original trees that were planted and illustrated those by doing like a cutout on the approved landscape plan where there's a color rendering of those trees. And then it was like a Swiss cheese map. I then recorded all of the trees that were planted when Jim and Dan and I first went, and the ones that were planted like the day after or whenever, to create what I would call an existing conditions plan. The original trees and the newly planted trees. That gave me the basis to say, where are the gaps? Where are there trees that originally died? Many of the locations of which I saw either the stump cut at grade, or I saw the reveal in the grass where the tree was previously, where there was no tree nor any stump. And in many of those locations where the tree had been excavated, and Jim and Dan and I talked about what we thought were good ideas for filling in the gaps. And then the neighbors are never bashful. So while I was out there inventorying, several of the neighbors on a beautiful sunny day came out and said, what about more deciduous trees near our townhomes? And what about screening that corner? And what about this? What about that? And so, to be respectful of their wishes, I then created the plan that's in the packet that is an attempt to show how to gracefully fit everything in. The only thing I didn't know is if there's, quote unquote, enough money in the budget to plant that number of trees. I wasn't bashful to put in those that I thought would fill the gaps or fulfill the intent of the approved plan. But I didn't know if I overshot the mark by putting in too many trees. So any and all input in that regard would be appreciated. the question that was asked is, are the 75 trees proposed meant to supplement the inadequate planting of trees by the developer? I would say yes. And if so, tree planting should occur as soon as possible, but must developer pay for the cost, not the tree bank? I have to defer to Jim on that. I don't know.
If I may, some of these trees that are shown on Tom's plan were trees that were planted by Matrix Development back in 2019. We subsequently, after the maintenance bond had expired, we found that a number of trees died afterward. However, we did contact Matrix Development, and they were willing to make the township whole by providing us with money to plant the additional trees. So they did provide us with funds to plant. It was somewhere in the range of 40 some trees out there. I think Tom had a few more extra in there that are than the 40 or so that we had identified that the responsibility of Matrix. But for the most part, this is all money that is from the developer who fulfilled their obligation, even though their obligation had expired.
All right. Well, that was my concern when I put in that comment. I just want to make sure the Matrix met their obligation. That was the purpose of the comment.
Yeah, and that's a good comment. I mean, they did, they actually exceeded their obligation and did what is right, which I appreciate.
Okay.
I have a question. If the 75 trees that we're talking about right here, so who's going to pay for what? I mean, there's like 75. Is the developer going to pay basically for all of these trees?
Well, I think Tom has more trees in there than had been on the original plan. So if we want to plant it a little more heavily, a few of those trees would have to come out of the tree bank.
Okay.
Do you know what the number would be, Jim?
I think the number that they were obligated for was somewhere in the 40s. So we could take a look at that and work with everyone to try to come up with something that works out for everybody.
All right, because I like the plan a lot. And by the way, Tom, I didn't mention it earlier, but I think you and your associate Aaron did a really, really first-rate job on this plan. There was a lot to it, a lot of different areas that you had to explore. But I liked the selection. I also liked the species that were selected. So a little pat on the back, Tom. I think
good.
You and your associate did a good job.
Oh, good. Thank you. And then, so Jim, the part that I defer to you and the township and the EAC on is when and if we share this drawing with the HOA, because I was afraid perhaps that I put too many trees on here and it would create an unrealistic expectation by the HOA. So if there should be fewer trees shown, I could thin out a little bit here and there.
Yeah, no problem. That's a good idea. So we don't raise unrealistic expectations. And I think some of the ones where you sort of saw the stumps, some of those were evergreen trees that Toll Brothers actually were responsible for. So that was a separate planting that had been done. So I think that's the reason why there's a little bit of a discrepancy in the numbers. And you and I can work together to make sure we get the biggest bang for the buck that doesn't bang the buck, so to speak.
Yeah.
Sure.
Is this township property? Because I know they had to convey 5 acres to the township for open space.
Yes, this is township property as
Okay,
of
good.
2019.
All right, great. All right.
Yeah, the other just a
Yeah.
couple other footnotes.
Yeah.
On Memorial Park and the Fred Allen Softball Complex, I did not go back to record what was planted in the fall of 2023. So what happened was it was a quickly moving target where Jim and I went to the sites a couple times. We took a stab at what we thought was a reasonable layout. Then quickly, like the next week, the landscape contractor installed all the plants that are in there today. But I never went back to inventory what trees the landscape contractor installed, which would remove or correct the trees shown in the TCA plan for Memorial Park and Fred Allen Softball Complex, or still show some trees in locations not yet planted. So I think for both of those parks, that needs to be rectified. Unless Jim has an as-built / as installed from the landscape contractor, then we could easily just import that into the plan.
And that is something I will provide you, Tom. I just have not finalized it yet. There's a few trees. I'm not sure what the species is. So once I determine that, I'll forward that to you so you can update your planting plan. And so the EAC also has that for their records.
Okay, and the same thing applies to the Stoddard Fields. Yeah. And then the other one, which is sort of floating out there, is Jim and I went back the third time to the golf course, and we met with the golf course manager. We had a nice day, and we were out in the golf carts driving around and about. And as a result, we made another revision to the golf course plan, and I haven't heard back from the golf course manager if we threaded the needle exactly as he was hoping that we would. So that still remains to be verified for Makefield Highlands Golf Course. And then another item that's embedded in the EAC comments pertains to Makefield Park, where there is or was a master plan drawing that was being prepared to indicate where additional plantings would go. Jim advised me to favor the limited locations that are shown in the plan, but I completely defer to whoever is currently doing that master plan, who might have a different point of view. I just don't know how that lines up together. And then there was one other question. Let's see, it was on all the species suggestions. I think they're all excellent. There was one other item that the EAC asked about. Beside the second item about the additional site, which is new to me, I didn't go there. And this is at number 4. So when Jim took me around to all the sites, we kind of did one set on one day, and I called them all A, and we did another set on another day, and I called them all B. But there's no rhyme or reason why they're A something through B something. And if you want to create other numbers for me, or we drop the numbers and just use the street, I defer whatever you would like me to do.
You don't have to. We were just wondering whether there was a reason for it. And if it's just because you took tours on different days, that's fine. I don't want to make extra work if don't have to.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Tom, I have a comment too. I know it was confusing when you were looking at some of these plans, because recently we planted 162 trees that basically finished out the 2016 plan. So I guess what I'm concerned about is that let's pick a number. Let's say at Memorial Park, maybe 15 or 20 of those trees were maybe double counted because they were part of the old plan and part of the new plan.
Okay.
I would hope that on a net basis, that for instance, when we're talking about Memorial Park, if there were like 10 trees that were redundant, that maybe we could find another place in the park. And I think we can, because that place is absolutely huge, for the 10 trees, so that we would net out to basically the same number that we're talking about now.
Okay. Very good.
I like
That's
that
it.
idea, Jim.
Yeah. And I think to the points that we've discussed, when Jim provides the information from the landscape contractor, and then let's say I go back and get with Jim to do what we were just talking about, so we don't have double counting, and we move things around, like we said, for Memorial Park, finding other places. We should be able to figure it all out. But I think to have a record of what was planted would be important, so that everything just is not overlapping with anything.
Well, I talked to Jim Majewski earlier about that, and I believe Jim either has it finished now or is working on that planting for the 162 trees it will depict exactly where these trees went in and what the specific species were. Is that correct, Jim?
It's still being worked on. I'm almost there, but still not at the finish line.
Okay, very good. Yeah, and I guess the other sort of overarching thematic, besides species types, comment is in the basins about adding trees instead of just around the edge. So over time, 50, 40, 30 years ago, the basins were created. They have whatever facultative vegetation is in the wet, low-lying areas, lawn around, sometimes trees on the upper elevations. And so a lot of comments talk about populating the basins with trees beyond the shrubs. So anyway, that's something that we have to also accomplish. Like, for example, the Schindler Drive, Ramsey Road, Darby Drive. Oh, I see. On that one, no trees or shrubs are listed. Proposed 10 hornbeam plus 20 shrubs. So that's doable. So the other one, let me just see here. Okay, comment number 3. The draft plan currently shows trees being planted outside the basins, but none in the interior. And then it goes on to talk about wildlife habitat and basin aesthetics, and then suggest 100 additional trees along with the shrubs be placed inside the basins of selected basins. So Jim and I have to figure out which ones are the greatest need for that. So that's on the to-do list. Otherwise, thank you for making the species recommendations.
Sure.
Tom, I would like to also add another comment too. I'm a naturalist at Bowman's Hill, and I give tours on wildflowers and trees, but I know the limit of my expertise, okay? So when I suggest something like hornbeam, I know that for instance, they like wet feet. However, we would certainly defer as far as species selection to you as far as that's concerned.
Sure. Thank you. But let me just say, I loved all the comments that you all made about the species. So, yeah, it's all good. I wouldn't normally pick black walnuts instead of willow oaks, but I'm game. I like the variety. I like the shagbark hickory. I like the tulip poplars, the American lindens. They're all good. And I will take out the Norway spruce and use white spruce. So I think we're good.
All right. So we're gonna leave Macclesfield Park to the Macclesfield Master Steering Committee or whatever they call themselves. I could maybe let Monica Turney know that, you know, that group ought to consider where trees should go and whatever. It may not be in your plan though. It may take too long.
Yeah, Jim, how close is the consultant to unveiling the plan for Macclesfield?
Last I heard, they were close, and it was going to be sometime at the beginning of the year. I'm not sure if that meant January, February, or March. So
Okay.
it may not work with the timing for this, but it's something that, should they progress with that master plan beyond just the initial plan stage, trees will certainly be an integral part of whatever vision they have for the redo of the park.
And tell me the status also of the Patterson Farm Initiative.
The Patterson Farm Master Plan has been completed by the consultant for that. And I believe at the next Board of Supervisors meeting, they will just officially adopt that plan. They already adopted the recommendations within that plan, but the final actual draft of the whole document of 436 pages, I believe the supervisor will adopt at their next meeting.
Okay. So once that becomes available, if you could just send it to us, that'd be great.
Will do.
Okay. Thanks for all your comments. I'll coordinate with Jim on it. And Jim, we also have to sensitize on Regency at Yardley, like we were talking about, realistic expectations by the HOA.
Oh, and I think the HOA is, they were pretty satisfied with our meeting with you. So I think we're all on the same page going forward. We just have to finalize those details you mentioned.
Okay, very good.
And I have actually one more comment about Macclesfield. When the report is issued, and I think, Jim, you said probably this month, February or March, I would like to be able to basically take their tree planting recommendations and literally incorporate them into the 2024 plan. Because again, you know, we have adequate money, you know, to take care of those plantings. What do you think about that, Jim?
I'm not sure if the timing will work out to incorporate that master planning into the adoption of this long-range tree planting plan, other than the trees that Tom Comita have shown on his rendering, are trees that I think work with that master plan, since they're all on the periphery where basically no changes will be made. And that's kind of when we get out there, we looked at what could he realistically think about putting in that would augment the park, augment buffering, provide trees and all the benefits from that without having an impact on the master plan or vice versa. So incorporating the overall Macclesfield master plan into this one, I don't think that timing works, but I think this can be put in as is with the changes that you had suggested, and still work with everything going forward.
Are you talking about the changes that we suggested, the 59 trees, or just the original plan that Tom had?
Well, I think you're talking about Macclesfield, the species. I know the Norway spruce needs to be swapped out, and I'm not sure if you had suggestions for more trees in Macclesfield.
No, I think Tom's, I'm talking off the top of my head now. I don't have the sheet right in front of me, but I think Tom talked about, was it 19 trees? And then our
19.
comment was about the other 59 trees. So again, I guess what I'm concerned with when they come up, are we going to add the 59 trees now? Because heaven knows, there's tons of land over there where those trees could be put in very easily, with probably not impacting, the long range plan, which I think primarily had to do with the fields. But if that's not the case, what I'm talking about is not incorporating the whole Macclesfield plan into the master tree plan. I'm just talking about the specific trees that they would be suggesting, and just basically making those part of the 2024 plan, and they would be paid for by the tree bank funds.
Well, we can discuss that and figure that out.
All right, that's fair enough, I think.
So, Tom, will we be seeing another draft of this, or does this go before the supervisors next?
Well, good question. So had the storm not occurred on Tuesday, we would have had a Park and Rec Board meeting, but their meeting was canceled. So presumably they'll meet in February. Is that right, Jim?
Correct. Maybe
Yeah.
even sooner, but February would be their standard meeting.
Okay. So in a perfect world, there would have been no storm. I would have had the virtual with the Park and Rec Tuesday, and then tonight's meeting. But I think it's premature for me to go to the supervisors next Wednesday. So I'll keep in touch with Jim on the rescheduled Park and Rec. Coordinate with Jim on all the points that we talked about, and then coordinate with Jim on what month is the best month to go in front of the supervisor. So we'll get back to you on the schedule.
Yeah, and I think it will come back to you guys with a more finalized draft that incorporates the comments that you had made in writing, Tom's response, and additional items that you had brought up this evening.
All right. Sounds good.
All right, one last comment too. I know, Tom, when you and Jim Majewski, do some of these tours, if you would like somebody from the EAC to attend, I would be, glad to attend. Certainly not mandatory, but if you think it might be helpful, I'm sure I could be available. But again, that's up to you guys. If you think a third wheel is one too many, that's fine with me as well.
I'm going to completely defer to Jim, and we'll get back to you.
Yeah, and actually, we did have our third wheel with us for part of our one set of visits when Sumya had come with us. So
Sumya.
that was beneficial, even for a third wheel.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks for coming to the meeting, Tom. I guess you're done
All right.
now. Right?
Yep. I'll
You're
hop off.
free.
Thank you. Happy New Year, everyone.
Yeah. See
And
you
I'm
later.
I'm so glad to hear that the Yardley area was spared from flooding.
Yeah. Well, there's more rain coming though.
Yeah. Very
Hopefully it'll
good.
Continue.
All right. Thank you all.
All right. Thanks for coming.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Thanks,
See ya.
Tom.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
thanks again, Tom.
Thanks, Jim.
Okay, moving on. Update on land use plans. there's really nothing new. Tolbert Farm Development, nothing new on that. And we sent in our comments on the Edgewood Road, Sandy Run Road subdivision, and nothing new on that. So we can move on to number 7, the Autobahn PA Bird Town Program reactivation. And this is another Jean item, our birthday girl.
All right, well, we are, once the resolution passed, since then, we've been working to get a lot of other stuff done, and I'm looking forward to getting us up and running, you know, with all the papers and all that kind of stuff, because there are going to be a lot of fun projects, programs for birds and people and children, and but for the moment we're still working on getting the paper signed and that kind of stuff. So, and then but for Earth Day, I was hoping, I was supposed to have a meeting with Park and Rec last week, and they rescheduled that for tomorrow. But I'm going to ask Monica if we can have Earth Day in one of the parks, maybe around the community center, and I'm hoping to hire or bring in the falconer, and John Helferty from 5 Mile Woods is going to, we might be doing something with him over Earth Day. So Earth Day is going to be a day when we're really doing a whole lot of neat things, and hopefully we'll be ready for that.
So that would be on a Saturday?
Yeah.
Earth Day's
yeah,
on
I don't
Monday.
know
Earth Day's the 22nd, right? So it's a Monday. So why don't we have it the 27th? That's a Saturday. In April.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know whether they would do it before or after.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're not, I don't think we're going to do anything on a Monday, but.
No, but I mean, the first Saturday, the Saturday before the.
You can do it before or after, so you got to pick one. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, do you like to want to pick the after?
Well, climatologically, the temperature should be warmer. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, so we'll do it. What's the date?
That's the 27th of April then.
Right, okay, so I'm going to be talking to Monica about that tomorrow, and I'm hoping that she's, good with doing, collaborating with the park and for Earth Day.
All right, are we going to send in this report? We got the email from Katie at the Township Building that they sent her. Are we too new to do that report? The annual report?
Yeah, I have, I will take care of that, but I haven't, it's not till the end of the month, and I don't think they're going to be expecting us to be too
much,
comprehensive with it, because we're really just getting started. Mm-hmm. But I will be taking care of that.
Okay.
Also, one other thing that I'd like to mention, Heidi Shiver is the woman's name who's heading up Pennsylvania Birdtown, and she would like to come to an upcoming Board of Supervisors meeting and just talk briefly and thank the board for signing the resolution. And also, I think we get 2 Jim Dandy nifty Birdtown signs that we can put up in the township. So when Alan and I meet with Dave on the 19th, that's one of the issues that we're going to discuss.
Okay. So that's it with Birdtown. Number 8, EAC lecture series. Sumya? I don't turn on your microphone.
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
I've requested for dates. I'm waiting to hear back.
All right, so he's still interested?
Yeah. Seems so.
Good. So when are you thinking? March, April?
Yeah, I think March, April would be realistic.
Okay. Yeah. I wouldn't do it in May or June though. It's getting too warm out. People will be out. Okay, number 9, EAC and township newsletters. Paul, you around? There you are.
Yep, I'm still here.
All right.
Yeah, we
and
sent it out.
You sent out that newsletter? Okay.
Yep.
We may need another one in the future. We'll let you know.
All right.
Because we may want to send out our 2023 year end in review, which I hope everybody got a chance to look at and is okay with, because I'll send it out to the supervisors if we're good with it, and the township manager.
Paul,
Yeah.
when you send
Yes.
out your next newsletter, would you put something in there about refillery in town?
Yes.
They because they have us on their website, you know, the styrofoam event. So I think it'd be nice to give them a little push,
Little plug.
a little plug.
A little nudge.
That's
Yeah.
right. Thank you.
No problem.
Paul, you should look at the 2023 year end review and see if it is the format will work in a newsletter. Because
I haven't had a chance to look at the year-end review.
it's like
I got
5
all bogged.
pages.
Yeah, I got bogged down in the plan for the trees and the 2 things for the stormwater management.
Okay. And the township, we can have articles in the township newsletter that goes out 4 times a year. And we were sent the due dates by Monica on December 19th email. So if somebody decides they want to have an article in the township newsletter, these are the due dates. So just be aware of that.
Is that the one that it's Park and Rec doing it?
No, it's the township. It's got advertisements and things on it. It's the big one. Yeah, so
It's mailed to all the residents,
yeah.
all the households.
Oh,
Yeah.
except for ours, nobody mailed it to ours.
No, we got it.
Oh, we did. All right.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Okay, moving on to odds and ends. Do we have a date for the Environmental Stewardship Award presentation, Jim?
No, because I just sent out an email to Cindy Glass, who is the head of the committee, and telling her that either the first or second Board of Supervisors meeting in February would probably be the time where the award is given. I'm kind of leaning towards the second meeting in February, but that's on our agenda when we talk to Dave on the 19th to see what works best, for the township. We're on top of all the logistics on that. The award plaque wording was just recently sent to Nicole from Awards and More, and we'll have a sample sent in a day or two. So that will all be done in plenty of time before the meeting.
All right. Good. Dave Kratzer sent out that January 4th email with the stormwater management ordinance RFPs. We'll probably get involved.
Yeah, I looked at it.
Yeah. If you have any comments,
And-
let them know.
Well, one of the interesting things in it, there's no prices, no dollar amounts.
Yeah, I guess they don't want us to see that. I guess it's
I
just
mean-
the tasks they're doing.
I mean, the second one looked the best. I forget the name of the outfit they
Uh-huh.
sent out. Because it's all employee owned. I really like that aspect. I mean, they all did good work and they all got some good things in it, but how much they gonna cost us?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I mean, the latter one, which is employee owned, they talked a lot about the MS4 standards more than the other one did.
Yeah, well, yeah, this won't be just about MS4. This will just be about reducing
No.
stormwater throughout the township.
Mhm.
So yeah, we'll be revisiting this later in the year. We'll have some suggestions, I'm sure.
Yeah, but they're gonna have this presentation on the 22nd.
Right, the two companies, they're trying to get the
Yeah.
the award. So yeah, we
But-
can listen in.
I mean, why would you have an RFP with no dollar amounts on it? That doesn't make any sense.
Well, they just didn't send us that part. I'm sure there's another section.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Open records?
Whatever. We'll ask Dave about it when we meet with him.
Okay.
Yeah,
I just thought that was very odd.
yeah. Okay, Sumi, anything on Tree City?
No further development.
Okay. Okay, there were people in the township building. I don't see them anymore.
Yeah, that picture went away.
Yeah, did they have comments or anything? I mean, if they had issues, we'd love to hear. Hello, hello? Going once? Well, Dominique, do you have any issues? Bring up?
Just plastics, that's all.
Yeah. Okay, well, hopefully some of this other stuff is a little bit interesting. All environmental. All right, open discussion. Anything else anybody have? We're gonna get you off on time, Paul.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. All
Oh,
right,
hey guys, sorry, we do have one question in the township building.
okay, good. What is it?
We're working on getting them on a microphone now.
For Brook Lane. So my question is the Zoom portion of this meeting able to be broadcast as well? Or do township representatives need to be here, or township residents need to be here for the event?
No, if you let us know, we'll send you the meeting number of it and you can go on Zoom and just enter. That's no issue. Just let us know. Or let the township know and maybe they can give you the information. If they don't, they can give you our email address and we can email it to you.
Yeah,
'Cause
Alan, we noticed that the information on how to participate remotely isn't on your agenda. So I'll send you the wording that should be in your agenda so that everyone could know that they don't have to come in person. They could have their choice, either come in person or participate remotely.
Okay, good. Yeah, make it easy. All right, any other issues at the LMT building? Okay. All right, so I guess we need a motion to adjourn.
Just one last thing, Alan. The January 8th issue of the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences has a groundbreaking study on microplastics in our bodies and our ecosystem. You can look it up on the National Academy of Sciences. It's pretty disturbing.
All right.
What
January
is
8th
it,
issue.
Paul,
Send me a
because
sign.
you,
Yeah, I'll send you a copy of it. It's short.
okay, thanks.
No problem.
All right. I think we're just about
Yep, it's
done.
time to go on to my next meeting.
All right.
Yeah.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll see you on next week. Motion adjourned, seconded.
Second, all in favor?
All right.
All right. See you, May. Some of you
Or
on the
around
20th. Yeah, some of you next
on the
month.
20th. Yep.
All right.
See you then. Bye-bye.
All right.